Are you having trouble stopping the bleeding? Not feeling so fresh down there? Are you a decentralization purist, BTC Maxi, without much leverage protection? BTC Maxi Pads is what you have been looking for, offering 3 substantial layers of protection to help stop the redness. BTC Maxi Pads, found at your local crypto Maxi store. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the World According to Kyle podcast. You can find me on your various social media network platforms. YouTube, TWA2K, Twitter, Kyleverse, TikTok, Kyleverse, Instagram, KyleMax86, Reddit, TWA2K. If you have questions for the show or topics that you would like to see covered, slide into one of my lovely DMs on said various social network platforms. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on all of your major podcast platforms. I've just switched over to RSS, so you should be able to find me anywhere. If you can't find me on your major podcast platform, please let me know, and I'ma fucking get on it. Catch me anywhere: Spreaker, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, GeoSavant, just to name a few. Hope you're doing great, and I hope you'll excuse my fake ad intro, but I wanted to use it as a nice little segue into the TWA2K favorite segment, a TWA2K fan favorite, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tales from the Crypt. Oh! Yes, sir. We are gonna kick off this TWA2K talking some crypto, and maybe BTC Maxi Pads will stop your bleeding, but they won't stop Michael Saylor's face from being very red. And I don't know about you, but anytime I see anybody with a overly red face, I haven't, let's just put it this way, I haven't seen anybody with a very red hue to them that wasn't a alcoholic. So, and considering MicroStrategy, which is Michael Saylor's company, considering Michael Saylor's track record, I'm not surprised he's degenerated into a life of alcoholism while he, tries to get a sense of escapism from, losing people a shit ton of money during the .com era, and now losing people a shit ton of money, telling them to sell their houses to buy Bitcoin at 65K US. Not the greatest investment advice, as we're looking at things right now, at least. And I would feel a little bit bad, kind of rubbing it in, but I don't. These Bitcoin maximalists have just been kind of calling my coins shitty and the stuff that I like crappy, simply because it doesn't fit their version of decentralization, and they feel like they're the only game in town. But I'm feeling pretty good. Actually, I'm feeling fucking great. Bitcoin lost at one point in the past 14 days. Bitcoin lost $20,000 Canadian, and the coin which I recommended, XRP, has only lost like about 10 cents Canadian. And, you know, while I'm not happy that things have taken a turn for the red, honestly, it's been a little relieving seeing these BTC idiots just shut the fuck up for a minute, you know. All this, Bitcoin is the only coin you'll ever need. Invest in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation and is the only crypto you need to invest in. Well, I disagree vehemently, and that is what I've been telling you, folks, and I hope you've been listening to my advice, because, you know, I might be a little bit in the red, but at least, you know, these Bitcoin maximalists, these Bitcoin purists, these crypto purists who think that that not having crypto centralized in some regard and regulated in some regard is like some sort of act of blasphemy, heresy against the crypto community as a whole is a real detriment. And you know what? This has been a long time coming, and I'm actually a little disappointed that, like, my coins aren't really dipping a whole lot. Like, this is just, in my opinion, a like one of these decoupling events where we are going to start to see other players in the game, in the crypto game, start to step up. And you know what? I've got no intention on selling right now, and I'm down like let's say I'm down like 50% on my investment. I literally, selling is the last thing that is on my mind at the moment. And a lot of these people I know in the crypto community were telling you to buy short-term flips instead of these long-term hodls. And XRP is a long-term hodl because we're waiting for the adoption of ISO 20022 standards. And because we know that's going to be the future. And a lot of people disregarded that position because you're missing out on a lot of gains. Well, where are your gains now? What are you doing right now? Oh, you have a lot of leverage into coins that are not going to be utilized in the future, and you have to wait for a bull run just to be able to back out of those positions. And this is kind of like a best case scenario for my assets and for what I'm holding. I actually was leveraged like 25% into I had a little bit of hedge value in the fact that BTC wouldn't run. So I have my long-term asset holds. I have my long-term asset holds, which I was going to be hodling for the future, but I also had had some short-term protection, some BTC in case BTC ran. I had some pro BTC coins that would have done well had BTC decided to run. But that wasn't the case, and now our position, hopefully, if you've been following the advice of the world according to Kyle, shout out to myself, hopefully you've been tailing us, because we are in such a fucking good position for the end of this lawsuit, for the resolution of this case, and I cannot wait. I'm really just hoping that by the time this Thursday comes around, because what happens at my work is that our company pays out our vacation bonus on the last last paycheck of June, and I get paid bi-weekly. So my last paycheck of June is going to be this coming Thursday. And so I've taken no vacation for this year. So I took 2 paid sick days, which we got thanks to Trudeau from the COVID thing, and which they federally legalized it. They took that out since COVID restrictions were getting loosened. But our company decided to keep the paid sick days. So I took 2 paid sick days. That was it, and I took no vacation. So I'm going to be getting a nice little chunk of cash, and that's 4% of my earnings are vacation pay. So I'm going to be getting a nice chunk of cash. I'm really hoping either the current level of dippage holds, or that we dip here, and I am going to be buying the fuck out of some crypto, because am I worried? Are we worried here? Are we worried with TWA2K? No, we are not at all. Bitcoin lost like 20K. XRP lost fucking 10 cents Canadian. This is just one of those things where it's a sign of what is slowly going to start to happen on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not completely out on Bitcoin. I'm out on environmentally damaging things. I'm out on, but I mean, can Bitcoin become a, store of value like they said? It's not going to be a utility coin. Can it maintain its decentralization? Yes. Do I think that's really important? Not really. I mean, decentralization has kind of been fucking crypto recently. We've seen lots of things like the Luna crash, and now Celsius with their situation where, and I have crypto on Celsius, which is earning yield. And so I get this email. So Celsius is a network where you store your crypto, and it gives you a percentage back based on what crypto you're storing. And so I have some crypto on there, and all of a sudden I get an email from Celsius saying withdrawals have been paused and swaps have been paused from the Celsius network. So I guess that if Bitcoin would have lost another 10%, that Celsius would have had to would have essentially been insolvent and bankrupt. So I mean, I'm glad they're taking their actions to ensure that they do not do that. Okay, but I mean, so they're keeping up giving their yield. So each Sunday you get a little bit of yield from Celsius and percentage based on what crypto you're holding. Now that yield is continuing, and we keep getting our yield, but I would rather have less of a yield and be able to cash out my shit right now and put it on a ledger. And honestly, this is my fault for not putting my shit on cold storage. I've been warned about this for fucking ever. And not all of my assets are. Not like a nice chunk is, but I've been warned about this for a while, that fucking shit is going to start to hit the fan, and you want to be careful where you have your money stored. Excuse me. Oh, and you want to be careful, like, where you have your money stored, because like when all these things start to happen, and when the price gets lower, what we're starting to see is which cryptos are dependent on a like high BTC value, and which cryptos or networks can still stay around regardless of BTC's value. And hopefully, like, this would be a real dick punch to the DeFi crypto world if Celsius goes under. I mean, I'm glad they're taking the right steps, and they're pausing, and they're kind of they're taking the right steps to protect the investors. But I don't know where this can go. And honestly, I pay attention to the AMAs, and Celsius seems like a more legit company than, like, if I've never invested in Terra Luna, but I could imagine, like, they're not doing AMAs every week, and they're not they don't care if they screw over the customers and then run. So hopefully Celsius gets back up and running, and they took the right steps to prevent them going bankrupt. But I mean, this is ridiculous, just not allowing people to have access to their own money. And this is kind of a dark era. This is a dark time for crypto. But when there's blood in the streets, I want to buy, and I cannot wait until my vacation pay comes, and I am gonna be buy. Like, I'm fucking like a slightly more gangster version of the gangster member of the NSYNC. Bye. I will be when my pay hits. And I don't really know exactly what I'm gonna do. It will depend a lot on the pricing, but I want to top up on a few positions. I'm gonna buy more quant. That is something that I think is I will have to do. I think quant is gonna be the future of because there's not. I think as we're seeing things play out more and more, we are gonna need more interoperability, and quant is the king of interoperability. And I do not see the future playing out where there's just one or two crypto assets. The amount of liquidity that the world needs to operate, like global money transfers and remittances and smart contracts and everything is more than any one crypto can provide. So I think I think quant is gonna be a giant, and I'm really gonna look to beef up my quant positions with my vacay pay. Also going to look to top up on XRP. I'm going to look to get a little bit more Casper inside of my portfolio, beef up my Casper, and what else? I think that's it. Maybe a little bit of Hedera, but I think that's kind of going to be my approach to slam down. And I'm in a great position. I'm not even considering selling. I'm no way I'm selling. I am DCA, dollar cost averaging, right now, because I never thought things would get this low. If I thought things would get this low, I would have just held on to my money and fucking bought all now. But if you would have told me before that crypto was gonna be under 1 trillion US at some point in the near future, and the market would be reeling after we're out of COVID, I would have said, oh hey, then I'll save all my money for then. But That's why you don't slam everything down right away, because you gotta wait and see how time evolves and how and where time takes a market, and you buy a little bit here, a little bit there, and kind of try and time buys in a way that lowers your dollar cost average. And you know what else is really fucking annoying me is that when I go on like these crypto the crypto trackers and how they track like the market cap and shit. What's annoying me is that why are stable coins included in this? Like, why are stable coins in the top 10 of these of crypto assets? Like, so when I open up and see the top 10 crypto assets, I have 10 here, but 3 of them are USDT, USDC, and BUSD. Like, stable coins and wrapped coins are not technically should not technically count towards like market cap ranking. Like, for instance, right now, number 1 BTC, 2 ETH, 3 USDT, 4 USDC, 5 BNB, 6 BUSD, 7 ADA, 8 XRP, 9 Sol, and 10 DOT. But you should take away the USDT, USDC, and the BUSD, because those are all stable coins. Those are not. Those are just ways to transfer money. So I would think that that the 11, 12, and 13, Doge, DAI, and TRX, DAI, and Tron should be technically the top 10 coins. And another one, which is 14, is wrapped Bitcoin. I do not think wrapped coins should count towards the technical or the legal top 10, technical top 10 of market cap rankings. Even though they do have that market cap rankings, but stable coins are just a transfer coin. They're a way to transfer cash to crypto, and they are just a bridge between your cash assets and your crypto. Now, crypto is an asset, not a security, but ICOs are the selling of a security token, which you can do so you can get your token off the ground, but you'll have to eventually pay a fine for it. Now, with this whole lawsuit with XRP, is that XRP never ICO'd. XRP never had a initial coin offering, okay? And right now we are just waiting for this fucking stupid case to end. And it's weird because I forget who's suing who again. Like, I keep forgetting. Like, I keep thinking that the SEC has sued Ripple, but everything else points to the contrary. So clearly I can't be correct. And it's like Mr. Gensler, Gary, you can still save face now. You still have a moment. Like right now, Attorney Solomon, who might be the Michael Jordan of lawyers, is like dunking all over these people, these lawyers that you have that you're throwing out to the fire to just get brutalized by him. I mean, he put every brain working on behalf of the SEC into a fucking blender. He had them arguing that Hinman was a client and his speech was meant to give market guidance, which, he had them completely talking in circles, like complete morons. And we have fucking dogs on our sides, and I could not be any happier. I could have chased some short-term profits, and I personally thought that the markets would be running a lot better than they are right now, but they're not. And so I'm glad I held long term. And most people thought BTC would run, but most people are fucking stupid. And you're allowed to be stupid just as long as you don't think your opinion is worth spreading, which is fine. You're allowed to be dumb and express your opinion. That's not against the law. Now, one of my more contrary coins that I'm invested in that does not match my hyper utility portfolio is Safemoon. And I just wanted to kind of offer a little bit of a better explanation as to why I'm invested in Safemoon. Now, so Safemoon initially was a tokenomics coin that was gonna try and get people money by burning and giving out reflections. Now they kind of changed their strategy, and they want to be a utility coin also. Now, Safemoon has taken a hit since this pivot, but I have seen promise in Safemoon, and now I wanted to show to you. So Safemoon wants to create an exchange, they want to create a blockchain, and they want to create a swap. Now, if they do everything that they say they're going to do, and they create this exchange in their own separate blockchain, and they seem like they got really smart, really good people working for them. So let me break it down for you why I feel like Safemoon is worth the risk. So if you are holding 1 million Safemoon tokens, and they, let's say they become an exchange, and a popular exchange, and which, since Safemoon started releasing stuff, they've looked good. Like, their products have looked good. I downloaded the Safemoon wallet, and I transferred my Safemoon there, and I've loved it. The functionality of it, everything that they've delivered on has been really good, and has been really solid. They recently transferred their swap and liquefy to swap and evolve, which is helping increase the price of Safemoon by transferring it. Instead of cashing it to swapping to BNB, they're swapping to Safemoon and providing more of a price bump in Safemoon since this transition of their to swap and evolve. Now, so here's an example. If you have, let's say Safemoon comes out with an exchange and they do a modest daily volume of 1 billion on average. So if you had 1 million Safemoon tokens, and they do an average daily volume of 1 billion in volume, which is reasonable, which is attainable to do that much in volume. So what you will be getting on a daily basis, if you have 1 million Safemoon, is you will be getting $80 in reflections. $80 in reflections from 1 million Safemoon tokens. Your weekly reflections would be $560 weekly US dollars with 1 billion in daily volume if you have 1 million Safemoon tokens. And your annual reflections, $29,120 if you hold 1 million Safemoon tokens, and they have an exchange and are doing 1 billion in volume. Now, come on, that is so. Safemoon, I feel, is kind of made a pivot and is kind of trying to become like a more green and eco-friendly, and instead of relying on pure tokenomics, they're trying to create a product, a utility coin, and a utility product which will serve as an exchange, as a separate blockchain, and I feel that is worth the gamble. That is worth the gamble, and that is my only coin, which is super kind of like I've had friends of mine call it a shit coin. I do not feel that Safemoon is a shit coin, obviously. And the thing is, I bought in at a low enough price where DCAing isn't really going to do a lot. I don't mind holding it. I don't mind hodling. And that is what I'm banking on. I'm banking on them holding through with their promises, and them creating an exchange in their own blockchain. And after that, I think like things will really start to take off, and it's worth the risk to hold Safemoon in hopes that these things will come about. Now, guys, listen, we are not going to be in this sort of recessionary position forever. So get your buying in now while you can. When there's blood in the streets, you have to be buying. And that is why I hold long-term positions, because in case shit hits a fan, right now I got stuff that I'm going to be lowering my DCA with, okay? I'm going to be looking to boost up my positions and boost up my bags and all these. If you are at all worried about this crash, you're not invested in the right cryptos. You're invested in short-term flips, and maybe I'm a little bit worried that that shit will like hit the fan, but I mean, in crypto will completely collapse, but no, not really. I mean, that's not the sentiment we're getting from like the rhetoric from the government and from everything that I think we've seen is that crypto is here to stay, and it will help the speed and the movement of money across the globe. And, that's exactly the majority of my investments. The majority of my investments are going to help global settlements, settlement of transactions globally. And in case you're wondering how much that could be, I've asked people who are skeptical on crypto, how much do you think that the global settlements are on a yearly basis? And they don't even come close to the number that it is. They can't even think of the number that it is, because it's so egregiously high that you wouldn't even think to guess that this much money moves and settles across the globe. It's over $2 quadrillion. Like, it's like something like $2.4 quadrillion is used for global payment settlements. Now, right now, how it operates with escrow and fiat is that so inside of each country, their central bank has money from every single other country inside of it to cover these global payments. So, whether you're in India or China or Canada or America, each of these central banks has money from each of the other countries' money inside of it as reserve to cover these settlements, to settle these payments. And what crypto does, and what specifically XRP does, is that it settles transactions instantaneously, and so it doesn't rely on you having to have all these different fiats inside of your central bank. So that's what we're invested in. We're invested in the future. We're giving up on any potential short-term gains in order to make sure that 5 years down the road, maximum, that we have the type of stuff that is gonna still stick around. All right, so that's it for crypto. Let's move on to some different segments, and because there's more to life than just, making money, I guess. Now, there's been a lot of talk about, transsexualism, and there's been a lot of hatred towards the trans community, mostly bigotry. And now there's this, what was it, Matt Gaetz, this guy who goes around and, tries to, own people on what is a woman, and try and catch people off guard by asking them what is a woman when they know and he knows that it is kind of a hot button issue that people identifying as women and not wanting to upset them. Now, I feel like I would do really good if I want him to ask me this question, because if he asked me this question, I would say there are three explanations. So one is a genetic biological woman. Now, that is what your doctor would ask if your doctor was, if you had some sort of issue with your plumbing, let's say, down there, and your doctor specifically needs to know your genetic makeup, your biology, okay? Now, I think that there's another explanation also. There's a second explanation. And there's, if somebody feels like a woman, then they are a woman. And that's okay to say that they're a woman. If, if a man has more feminine traits and is more feminine in thinking, and despite the fact that they are their sex is a man, that they cannot that they can serve a gender role as a woman, and that's fine. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, what the fuck do I care? This isn't deteriorating society. Such a low percentage of people identify as trans, and it's really just not a big deal. I've met trans people before, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, what is the harm in a guy who dresses more like who wears dresses, like a guy who wears dresses or heels and does makeup and just has a different mentality about life. As long as it's not harming me, then I truly don't give a shit. And now that was the two explanations on what is a woman. So one, what is a woman? One, a genetic biological woman. Number two, what is a woman? Someone who feels like a woman. If you feel like a woman, if you have feminine traits and you want to identify as a woman, okay, you are. Then you want to say you're a woman, fine. Now, here is the third one, and this is the one that every conservative male who hates trans people is on the low key worried about. Now, this is the one that is the low key fear of every conservative male. Now, every conservative male, if they're not just doing it to pick on somebody, if they're not just doing it to be a hateful fuck, because that seems to be what conservatives are best at, what they seem to love doing. So what every conservative male is worried about, and because I say this because I'm a center right leaning male, and I'm kind of worried about this, and I'm low key a little worried about this, is since these medical procedures are getting such where it's harder to determine if somebody is a male or female, if somebody's getting hormone replacements from a very early age, and they look very female, but I mean, I am just a straight guy who wants to have sex with women, with straight women. So if somebody let's say I go home with somebody and all of a sudden figure out they're presenting themselves as a woman, but they were a guy who transitioned into a woman, I would have a problem with that. And I guarantee you that's kind of what's in the back of these conservative guys' minds. Is like, oh, what if I get drunk and then fool around with someone that has a penis, and then all of a sudden I'm gay. Now, that's not exactly what I'm worried about, but I think it is. I think it's a form of rape to not identify yourself as your like, to say, like, if you're a guy who has transitioned into a woman, to not make sure that a guy is comfortable or cool with that, because that's something that not all guys would be cool with, and I'm not cool with it. I would not want to, and it's not a form of discrimination. It's just a preference of mine. Everybody has a preference of what they want and in a relationship, and I feel like to say, if a guy who has transitioned into a woman is a woman, and somebody is drunk, and I am able to tell, but say if you're shit-faced drunk and somebody lies and says they're a woman, and you go home with them, and you find a fucking wang, then that's gonna. Then I think if I had to say that if there was like a legitimate reason that a right winger or a conservative has to this issue, that would be it. That I would think like that is kind of a form of rape. If like if a guy who has transitioned or a girl who has transitioned identifies themselves as what they had transitioned to, and does not specify that it was a transition, that it is a form of misrepresenting who you are, and it is kind of a form of rape if you take advantage of somebody's drunkenness or ignorance and and use it to your advantage sexually, and use it to exploit them, and you say you're a woman and you're not, then that's kind of in the back of the deep fucking recesses of my mind. But there's never really, for me, like, there's never really been a situation where I have been like, oh yeah, like, I don't know if that's if that's a woman or a man, because I'm attracted to feminine women who project femininity, and usually, and it's fine that other people aren't, that you want to that you can be a little bisexual, or like sexually open to that, or open to that on a love or relationship basis. That's fine. It's just you also have to respect you also have to respect my my view, where I don't want that. I want a biological woman, and not and I don't necessarily think that and I don't want to be with someone who has transitioned. And but if it stops, like, I don't think we should be so hard in blaming people who are transsexual. I don't have anything wrong with anybody who's transsexual, as long as they respect my preference. As long as they respect my preference and I respect theirs, and I don't think we should discriminate. They're certainly not to blame for all of the world's problems, that's for sure. The fact that trans people exist is actually helping things, and helping suicide rates, and allowing people to just genuinely be who they are and not submit to these preconceived gender roles. There are a lot of guys who are, more effeminate, a lot of girls who are more masculine, and I think just the deconstruction of these social norms is the good thing, and it's a good thing to have people live out to their authentic being and be who they want to be. Now, the other kind of contentious point with the trans community, and I want to bring this up because I think I can solve it, is the trans sports issue. Now, I'm not just going to say, oh, yeah, like a beefed up guy who just transitioned can compete against girls who are biologically weaker than him. Now, I think that is one point that that the people who are bigots are pretending to wrap their bigotry around to make it seem less hateful. Now, they're able to do this because it is a legitimate point, and I want to solve this once and for all. I have a solution for us to be able to address this this hot button issue. Now, how I would solve transports is have a unisex league, or have a sexless league, where there is all genders and anybody invited, so that there's no distinction of sexuality. So there's men's basketball, there's women's basketball, and there's multi-sex basketball, where there's women's and men's basketball. And then that way there's kind of everybody is invited, and you can kind of set up your own league dynamics, or your own sport dynamics based on unisex principles or multi-sex principles. And I think that is the way forward, where it's kind of similar to it's kind of similar to the bathroom situation where you have a male bathroom, you have a female bathroom, and then you have whatever bathroom where anybody can use it or anyone can play in it. And I think that is the way forward. I don't think it's right that, I think it's a knock against feminism, and it's a knock against women's rights to, for like me to say, oh, I'm a woman now, and then go and beat up on women in like a football league or something. Like, I just don't somebody who's a biological born male has a biological advantage over females. So the way you fix this is by having an open multi-sex sports league. So you have men's leagues, you have women league, and you have multi-sex leagues. That is how you solve the trans sports problem. So I'm not simply pointing out as, I'm trying to nitpick something that's wrong. I'm actually trying to think of solutions. And this isn't a way to highbrow. I just feel like not much of the extreme bad is coming from transsexuals. You see a lot worse grooming and a lot more rapes and a lot more sexual misconduct from church clergy people than you do from the transsexual community. So in my mind, if I'm not willing to say that the Catholic Church is a problem, then I shouldn't say in the same mouth that transsexuals are a problem when there is less of a problem with these issues than there are with the Catholic Church. So which is a much more established and relevant organization, whereas less than 1% of people identify as transsexuals. So just a little bit of ammo for you guys to fight back against this when bigotry is masquerading itself as some sort of contrary opinion to the woke mob, apparently, which I am in, which I didn't know. So here's what you got to do with the whole woke thing. So if someone is calling you woke, so when you can just substitute woke for anti-discrimination. So when someone is saying, "Oh, you're part of the woke mob," then what they're essentially saying is you're part of an anti-discrimination mob, which is cool. Yeah, I don't like to discriminate against people. If you like to discriminate against people, then you're a fucking fascist. So, fuck you. Now, moving on to the next section. First of all, congrats to the Dubs. The Golden State Warriors winning their 6th team championship, their Curry's fourth championship, and what an unexpected one it was. And I'm having lots of debates with people about the greatness of Steph Curry, and I feel like he is not getting enough credit for as great as he is. And some people clap back at me against this, but I do not think, name one player now or ever that could have won a championship with Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Porter, Wiggins, and Poole. Now, no disrespect to those guys. Those guys were all great and all had a great role in this Warriors run. But who could have won with that? LeBron could not have won with that sort of supporting cast. KD by himself would not have won with that supporting cast without Curry. Could Giannis have won with that? With Thompson, Green, Porter, Wiggins, and Poole? No. Curry is the only player that could have won with those sets of guys. Curry is somebody who is playing basketball to its... it's like if, the best guy in the paint when 2-pointers are what mattered the most. Like he is the most proficient at the thing which is the determining factor in whether your team wins on a game-to-game basis or not. The 3-point shot, he's so better than the average at 3-point shooting. He is so levels above anybody at 3-point shooting, which is usually the determining factor in what wins and loses games. So how is he not the greatest player in the NBA right now? How is he not the greatest player in the past 10 years in the NBA right now? You tell me, because I can't think of it. And he plays the game, and he's proficient in the thing that in basketball, being a team sport where everybody needs to have a role. It's like, before, when there was not a 3-point line, that having a guy who was dominating in the paint was the best possible way to win your championship. So why Wilt Chamberlain was so dominant in his age and in his era was because he was the most dominant man in the paint and at getting layups and at getting contact and at doing these hooks and at close range shots. Because that was what the game emphasized, and that was the what put you above and beyond, was having that in the paint game. Now, Steph Curry, now that we have transitioned to a game where 3-pointers are what puts you above and beyond, and he is the best 3-point shooter that has ever lived. Period. And I loved Ray Allen. I loved me some Ray Allen. And I loved me some fucking, what's the other guy's name for Pacers? Reggie Miller. And I love me some Reggie Miller, man. But they were spot-up shooters. Steph can create a shot from everywhere. He moves around like a motherfucker, and he fucking can, and he can spot up from any. He can just shoot on the run, and he can hit layups, and he's got a mid-range game, and like he can pass. Like he is the complete package, and he can shoot from literally anywhere on the court. He is like the him and his shooting is like being the Wilt Chamberlain of this day, where he is so good at the thing that is, that puts you noticeably above every other player, where he is just super efficiently good at the thing that makes people really good in basketball. And in an era where 3-pointers are the most, having steady 3-point shooting is more of an asset to teams than anything else can be. You cannot deny Curry's greatness, and he just cemented his legacy. And honestly, he is on equal footing with LeBron, and he is equal to him because he is that important. And if you look at basketball being a team sport and players playing their role, he is the most dominant player in playing his role than anybody else in the NBA. And if you want to say, if you want to throw out, other names, that's fine. But for him to do what he has done and won as many championships as he has, the Golden State Warriors with anybody else would not have won. Would have won maybe one championship. He is the epitome of greatness, and he is a top 10 ever player in the NBA. Now, there's a couple other NBA debates that I wanted to go around. Now, there's the Russilo debate, where Russilo says that Ryan Russilo suggests that three-pointers are ruining the NBA. Now, I have a contention with this suggestion. I think that layups are ruining the NBA. I think that where we're getting it wrong is that three-pointers are valued correctly. Three-pointers are valued correctly. Jump shots are valued correctly. Free throws are not valued correctly. And layups are not valued correctly. A layup is very easy to do. You go to the bucket, and let's think about it in terms of what is the hardest to do. Now, what is hard to do? Is it hard to go up to the rim and kiss the ball inside of the key and fucking have it tip in? That's not hard to do. It's very easy to do. It is a lot harder to make a free throw from 13 feet away than it is from fucking 15 feet away than it is to get a layup from 1 foot or 2 feet away. Is it not? Am I crazy? I mean, of course it depends on the defender there. But getting a kiss off the glass is worth 2 points. But if someone slaps you and you go to the line, this is the whole hack-a-shack premise. And this is why that is fucking stupid. Is that a free throw should be one shot for 2 points. And if you nail it, you get 2 points. It shouldn't be 1 for 1 and worth 1 point each. And I'm just talking about, I don't even care if we keep basketball the same way in the best interest of the flow of the game. And that's fine by me. But if we're going to say three-pointers, Ryan Russilo suggests that three-pointers are ruining the game and that we're only seeing blowouts and that we're only seeing wins by 10 plus or more and that it's killing these close games. Well, I don't look to the two-pointers. I look to why it's 2 points to get an easy kiss off the glass. Now, let's say, let me postulate this to you. Let me suggest this to you. Let's say we had a thing where jump shots are harder to make than layups, correct? So let's say that if instead of taking it to the glass, you step back and make a jump shot, that is worth 2 points. Anything outside the key that is not a layup, that is a jump shot, is worth 2 points. Anything that is a layup is worth 1 point. And the 3-point line stays exactly the same. The 3-point line stays exactly the same because it is the mathematical correct distance to justify shooting it. The reason why it works so good and why Steph Curry is the greatest player on the planet, because he's the best 3-point shooter. He is the best asset at getting the most points in a half court. In which and essentially that's what it is inside of the half court that there's 3 points and there's 2 points. And he's the best at getting the most valuable shots, better than anybody else ever was and ever is. And I don't think anybody will be better than him. And I can say this because that was kind of my I want to say I was even good at it, but I mean that is how I played basketball. Is that I was that I was a 3-point shooter, so I can understand how hard it is to be as good as Steph is and be able to create a shot from beyond the arc and on the move like he can. I cannot even fathom how much hard work has gone into that. But if we're just looking at it in the terms of what is easiest and what is the hardest to do, why are we not looking at layups as being too easy and too well rewarded as opposed to 3-pointers being worth too much? That's kind of my point of contention with the Ryan Russilo debate. In that, maybe the flow of the game just works better that way, and I can accept that. But, I mean, I don't think 3-pointers should be worth 2 just to help it so that there's no blowouts. I mean, maybe we should have, like, a 4-point line or a 5-point line. And then after half court, that's 6. And then, when you're beyond 75% of the full court, then that's 10. Why not do that? Why not have everything quantitatively valued based on the difficulty that it is to make the shot? Why not have that? Why say that, dunking a ball, which is just a easy take to the net, which is just an undefended, easy take to the net where you're not getting a charge. Why is that worth 2 points instead of 1? You tell me that, and then I'll tell you why. 3-pointers are worth more than 2. And I have a lot more evidence in my court. Now, the other point of contention with the NBA, which is a debate that Bill Burr has brought up, is the officials. And that the officials are having too much control over the game. But that's kind of how, in my view, is officiating in the NBA. It's not like as rigid. It's more like painting a picture. And this is what we have to get away with officiating. In my mind, if computers and AI was responsible for officiating, it would be far better off. Instead of, that's why the LeBron era has kind of taken off, is because LeBron is like the best whiner in the NBA, and that he fucking cries, he hit me, and that he cries the best. And then that's why, he's kind of the greatest player, because the refs will always give him the benefit of the doubt because they know he's going to fucking cry the loudest. That is the bad part of the NBA, where people are always whining over, call fouls. But, I mean, unless there's like a way to definitively decide on what is a foul and what's not, it's almost like the referee has to kind of paint a picture, and it's never going to be exactly fair, and we kind of accept that, and there's a little bit of give and take, and there's makeup calls and not makeup calls. And I feel like the NFL doesn't operate like this, and that the NFL can be more rigid. But in basketball, it's such a snapshot judgment. It's such like a spur of the moment judgment. Did he slap him enough? Did he not to affect the shot? And okay, how much is his team up on the other team? Do I let this go? Do I not? I think it's a very snapshot judgment, and it's a lot more open to interpretation than say football is, or baseball, or something that is like that. And so the dilemma with the NBA is that you got to figure out how to perfect these calls without slowing down the pace of the game. And until it gets like that, then, it will be the ref is just kind of an artist, painting a portrait of, of fouls and blocks and reach-ins and charges and trying to, balance it out, somewhat fairly. And on top of that, I think charges are often overlooked, and I think it happens a lot more than in the word. They'll just so if somebody crashes into somebody and it's either a charge or a foul. So you see so many times where a player gets knocked down and it's not called a charge or a foul. And where it's just flagged off and the guy gets the layup, but, one guy smashed to the floor, either he had his feet set or he didn't. And so either it's a charge or it's a foul. So either the guy was running into him with the other guy had his feet set outside of the key and his charge, or the guy was moving his feet and he didn't have his feet set, and it was a foul because it was a blocking foul. So which is it? I mean, you can't have a guy smash into another guy, have the defender flying, and it's not a foul call. And in my mind, it's a foul. That is a foul. You just have to decide on who it's on. So I think those are the things that are kind of taking away from the NBA, and that where people are, the referees are almost like painting a picture instead of objectively calling a game. And so, to cap it off, shout out to the Bay, to fucking Golden State Warriors and winning their 4th championship. All respect to fucking the greatest right now, the greatest shooter ever, and a top 10 player of all time, Steph Curry. Let's cap it off there. I feel like it's been a great episode. We will catch you again on the next one. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that was the World According to Kyle podcast. Have a good one, everybody.